One question that I always get is, how do I fix split ends? What type of conditioners, what type of products do I use to fix split ends? Well, I am here to tell you that split ends cannot be fixed. There is a reason why most hairstylists recommend you to get a trim. Most of my clients, I would always recommend 10 weeks. Well, the reason behind that is your hair shaft is a fiber, and it is a fiber that does not regenerate itself. It is a fiber that does not heal itself. Your hair, even though it is attached to the follicle, even though it's within the follicle, it is not something that can regenerate itself. You know how you cut your hand and then it heals up? Well, your hair shaft does not work like that. Because the hair shaft does not work like that, you have to be cautious, right? So I want you to understand, whenever you do anything that causes the hair to split, like wet detangling, whenever your hair is super wet, combing your hair wet with conditioner, doing ponytails and any type of style, doing anything to your, literally anything to your hair when it is wet, any type of tension when your hair is wet. There's a difference between combing and detangling. Detangling the hair is literally what it sounds like. You have tangled hair and you detangling the hair. You're getting the knots and the tangles out of the hair. You never do that on wet hair. Why? The hair shaft is a fiber that is weakest when it is wet, and your hair is weakest when it's wet. So if your hair is matted and tangled and in knots, the last thing you want to do is do that whenever it's at its weakest point. You want to do that at its strongest point. One of the main reasons why everybody likes to use conditioner is because you get the illusion that is making your hair healthier because it is easier, but in reality the only reason it's easier is because the hair is paralyzed. Most people that detangle their hair with like conditioner and stuff like that walk away with like globs and globs of hair in the brush. That is not something that should ever happen. The only time you should have a bunch of hair in a brush when you get done combing it is if you've had braids in your hair for over a month, right? Because the average person is losing anywhere between 55 and 100 strands a day. So if you're losing between 55 and 100 strands a day, then, and your hair is in braids for a month, multiply the amount of hair that you're losing per day, multiply that times 3 months, then yeah, you're going to have a bunch of hair in your comb. But if you are a person who is washing their hair once a week, there is no reason for you to have globs of hair in your hand. There is something wrong. Here on the screen, you guys can see back in the past, whenever I first initially went viral on YouTube, whenever you guys first heard about me, it was because I was doing silk presses. Well, here on the screen, doing these silk presses, these are all women who swore by the Team Natural hacks, right? I was the fix-it lady when people got tired of Team Natural, right? I'm not just coming into the game. I've been doing this for well over a decade, right? And when they would sit down, I would have them I would ask them a bunch of questions to figure out like how they got there so they would never be there again. And every single time, everybody told me the same exact thing, which was twist outs, 2-strand twist. I only wear my hair in twist. Literally everything that people say now. And they would be like, yeah girl, and I've only been wearing my hair in twist for the last 3-4 years. And then I straighten their hair and you can see through everything. I've been saying that for a long time, but I feel like if I come here and I just give you guys a visual representation of it, you'll be able to see. So let's hop into this visual representation of what I've been telling you guys for a long time. I'll do a voiceover over this, but I really just want you guys to see what I mean. Like, I'm not being rude, I'm not being stank, I'm not being nasty. For years, over a decade, over 10 years, I was standing behind a chair doing the hair of women who thought exactly like you guys think, like, oh, 2-strand twist. You guys, if you're always doing 2-strand twist and that's like, oh, this is my look, babe, you are not doing anything new. Team Natural started about 12 years ago. So about 12 years ago, girls were doing the 2-strand twist, and I was like, no, stop doing that. That's the issue. That's the problem. They would come, this would be the result of their 2-strand twist, their wash-and-gos, their Team Naturals. And then after this would be over with, then the next thing you know, like the next thing you know, of course, they're like crying. Oh my God, I thought my hair was going to be so much longer. I was going to be so much fuller. And then we would have to start over. And when we started over, the ones that trusted me, I would give them a regimen like, okay, we can do this, but you are going to have to keep up with your hair regimen. All right, so the hair regimen that I gave them was one that matches the one that I now have in the 7-day challenge. The 7-day challenge isn't something that I just randomly made up. The 7-day challenge is literally what I would give my clients in the past when they would come in with their team natural hacks, and they would have to get all of their hair cut off, and we would start all over. All of their hair would come back better, thicker, fuller, and healthier than it was before. But they would have certain actions, certain patterns, certain steps that they had to follow, and that is what the 7-day challenge is. So leave me some comments below, you guys, as you hop into this video. I just want to know if you guys would like for me to like go back over all of my older videos and give you guys, explain to you guys what I'm talking about. Of course, I'm gonna go ahead and blur out all of my older clients. I'm gonna blur out all of their faces as much as I can. I don't have to, but as much as I can. But I do want to give you guys a visual representation of what I've been saying for all of these years. All right, I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching this video.
So if you're new to my channel, then you've probably never seen the videos when I was standing behind the chair as a cosmetologist. This video is so freaking old. That's why the quality looks like this. But this is what I did for well over a decade. And after so many years of being the fix-it girl, I was like, you know, I want to go deeper into the industry so women will skip over this process in general. Now, this woman that is here in my chair, any woman that you see that made it to my channel was a woman who trusted me, who really, really listened to what I had to say and changed all of their habits, right? The women who took home the 7-day challenge that I now charge for, it was a part of their appointment, right? When they came and sat down in my chair, that's how they were able to make sure that after they sat in my chair, they were always able to keep this pattern up, right? But this client in particular, her norm was to do twist outs, right? 2-strand twists. That was her favorite thing to do. And because it was low maintenance, because she didn't add heat. Now, this woman here in particular had not added heat in her hair in over 5 years. It had been 5 years since she used a blow dryer. It had been 5 years since she used a flat iron, a pressing comb, a curling iron, anything. She wasn't even doing like roller sets sitting under a dryer. So everything that you see is pure mechanical damage. I have different videos on CCCA, and this is somebody who suffered from extreme mechanical damage and CCCA. So make sure you check the links in the description box below and just look at my channel so you can really go over those things. But these are things that have long-term effects. So it was like I was living in two worlds at one time, because it was at one point I would get on YouTube and try to tell you guys, hey, don't do XYZ because it leads to this, what you guys are seeing on the screen. Imagine from 7 o'clock in the morning to whatever time I take my last client, I'm doing things like this. And then getting on YouTube like, okay, let me make videos so I can prevent women from dealing with this. Then getting on YouTube, making videos telling you guys not to do twist outs, not to do wash and goes because of their long-term effects with mechanical damage, right? Telling you guys not to grease the scalp, not to use co-washing conditioners instead of regular shampoos and things of that nature because of the things that it causes to the scalp, right? So in one breath, I'm teaching you guys all of this information, and in another breath, I'm dealing with women who are already in that reality, right? But of course, helping them through that process. So at this point, you know, I am straightening her hair, and now we're going to go through and flat iron. But I need you guys to realize it's not a whole bunch of products. When I was behind the chair, and I know you guys have seen her face kind of, sort of, and it's not really a big deal, but because this video was on my channel and got like almost 300,000 views, so it's not a big deal, but still, I don't want y'all in her business. But At this point, you know, that portion that I just blanked out, me and her were talking about her breakage. We assessed her scalp and things of that nature, and we decided to do more of a layered cut, so that way her bald spots would be camouflaged a little bit, the same way that I do my hair when I have HS outbreaks. And I think that's why a lot of my clients trusted me so much, because they knew about HS and what I dealt with and how I beat it all the time, because they could see, even though I wore my hair shorter, how thick it was. They could see when I did have an outbreak in my scalp. I would show it to them, and then they would also see the process of it growing back. So it was never a big deal. It was never a problem. And in this case, I am now just giving her a haircut that is going to make sure that her hair grows out without her needing to do a big chop. Because initially, I remember this day very vividly, when she came in initially, she was like, let's do a big chop. She was ready to cut all of her hair off and do a pixie. And I've always been the hairstylist that's like anti big chop. No, let's save what we can. And as you can see, there are a couple of see-through pieces like right there on the side that can go, but there's a difference between your hair being thin from breakage and your hair being thin from it thinning out at the root, at the follicle, right? So that's why I would do a consultation to see how the hair was thin. Was it thin from the root, or was it thin from breakage? And the parts that you guys are seeing that look a little thinner are thinner from not breakage, but from the root. So as she ended up thickening her hair up, then she didn't have that problem anymore. Now, this is someone else. This is one of my clients who at the time was hardcore Team Natural, hardcore rice water, hardcore apple cider vinegar, all of that. And we ended up giving her a haircut. Why do I keep saying we ended up giving her a haircut. Now, initially, when you first look at her hair, right, at this point, even the way that her hair looked when she first walked in, I don't have the video of that, and if I did, I wouldn't know where to find it. But initially, she had like a cute natural fro, and as I comb out her hair right now, you would say, oh my god, yes, her hair looks so thick, it's so full. Well, guess what? When your hair is curly, it lies to you. You cannot see the true health of somebody's hair when it is straight. You cannot. Now, I'm going to do the best I can at showing you guys this process, but for her, I really just want you to see her ends. Now, her hair was so many different lengths. She's been getting natural cuts, like, you know, the Team Natural cuts, where they cut your hair curly with the curly cuts. Oh my god, you guys. And still, so far, it looks kind of okay, but keep watching. This is why I'm always telling you guys, like, no, you can't judge based on how your hair looks when it's curly. This is just how her hair looks blown out. And now a lot of people that are like, oh, my hair is long, and it's like, your hair could be long, it could be thick. Most people think they do have long, thick hair, but when you straighten it out, it gives you the truth of what your hair really looks like. And what you are seeing before you guys, this is how my work days were. Most of the time, from the time I first went into work until the time I left, this is what I was doing. So the only time that I really had clients who had healthy hair was when I was doing my regular clients, which was only a couple of days a week. But the majority of my clients were new clients, and the majority of them had hair just like this, right? In the past, I would get comments like, oh, it's something wrong with your scissors. No, it's not. I cut hair a lot differently than a lot of people do. Most people will get in there and just cut away. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't close my shears all the way when I'm cutting hair, because most of the time, especially when you're cutting people who are coming from Team Natural, there are so many different lengths. And as I'm cutting her hair, we're talking and laughing and stuff, but I'm really concentrating and looking at what type of cut I'm going to do, because the standard cuts that we learn in school are not the same cuts that you can do. Look at that. Look at that one piece in the middle. That piece has not been cut by me yet. And then look at this other piece that's on the side, on the right side. They are drastically different lengths. I know that you guys think that you're really, really helping your hair by not using heat, by just stretching it, right? And all of these other things that you're doing, you are not helping, you're actually damaging your hair. Because think about it, the different routines and patterns that y'all use to stretch your hair out, most people will be doing their hair for like 2-3 hours. If you were to just pick up a blow dryer, you could be done blow drying your hair in 15 minutes and just be done with your hair for the day and keep it moving. And I know that it sounds different, but I need y'all to realize, like, we're not the women who have brown skin are not the only women with curly hair, but you guys wouldn't notice it because other women, they keep their hair stretched. So remember in the past, like I told you guys on the live that I did this morning, like our ancestors kept their hair stretched. And when their hair was stretched, it was stretched. They did it with yarn. Sometimes they would do it with, the leaves from palm trees and all types of things, because they didn't have blow dryers or other ways to do it in an easier way. So again, you guys can do whatever you want to do. You don't have to use a blow dryer, but you could do a flexi rod set. You can do a roller set. There are so many different things you can do, but set the bonds that are within your hair, because just twist outs, I know that it seems good and I know that your hair feels good because you put those layers of product on and it gives you the illusion that your hair is silky and smooth, but what's really happening is the hair shaft is being suffocated by the products and is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And when you think that you're detangling your hair and like you think that that's normal shedding, that's not normal shedding. That is a bunch of the hair that's supposed to be on your head breaking off. Remember, the average person has 100,000 follicles. Each follicle has 1 to 4 strands. So even though your hair looks really thick, what's actually happening through what was actually happening and what is still happening now with the Team Natural styles and all of that, what's actually happening is slowly but surely you are going from 3 to 4 hairs per follicle to 1 to 2 strands per follicle. And the products that you put on your hair give you the illusion of plump curls. But then when you come to a cosmetologist like me, the first thing I'm going to do is detox your hair shaft. So I'm going to take out all of the products that were there. And then once we blow out your hair, all of those 100,000 to 400,000 strands that you have on your hair are now all separated and we can see them all, the reality of them all, right? So this is what I used to do every single day for over a decade, you guys. And what we would do, there would be certain cuts that my clients would get, so it wouldn't look like they had a big chop. It would look like they just wanted to do like another cute hairstyle and they wanted me to help them out, and that would be the end of it. But it didn't look like I just went ahead and like cut all their hair off and they just did a big chop and had to get a razor and or clippers and like I wasn't for that. I was for the fixes, like let's do a certain type of haircut, let's give you certain layers or something to camouflage the breakage, right? To camouflage the balding, to camouflage the length, because at this length and at this cut, which you will see at the very, very end, she didn't walk out looking like, oh, I'm starting over. No, she just walked out looking like, oh, girl, like, I'm loving your bob. It looks like she just had an idea to get a new haircut. It doesn't look like she needed to cut all of her hair off. So when I say that this is what I used to do for 10 years, that is what I mean. Women would be Team Natural for 4 or 5 plus years, and then they find me on social media and like, okay, I want to come to you, I want to straighten my hair out, but I had policy and procedure that told them, hey y'all, this is how stuff is gonna go with me. If I'm gonna straighten your hair, and then I'm gonna look at it to see what it is, and don't expect for your hair to come out the way that it does on YouTube if you don't allow me to do my job. At this point, I'm going in. It looks like I'm just cutting for no reason, but what I'm doing is over directing so I can create layers in the back, because as you guys saw when I was trimming at the very beginning, there was like a whole bunch of weird like short pieces that were just randomly placed. So what I just did, when you saw me going back and forth, I'm over directing to add length on the sides, and then I'm going up creating different forms of elevation to create layers within her hair, right? And this is going to give me the bob effect that I need. This is going to to give me those layers. Me over directing is what gives me that little dip in the back. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. And when I did haircuts like this, it made it so my clients were able to grow out their hair in a healthy way. And not only were they able to grow their hair out in a healthy way, the same exact 7-day challenge that you guys had, my clients went home with, and they knew what patterns and what routines to follow, so that the next time they came back to me, I wasn't cutting more hair off. This is why when I went viral here on YouTube, which is how most of you found me in the beginning, it is because most of you could see my clients go from really, really damaged hair to really healthy hair. And then you would see them come back like 3 weeks later or a couple of months later, you see them again on my channel and their hair is longer than it was before I cut it off. That is how I went viral. But first, I need y'all to understand that for y'all to start growing y'all hair back, y'all have to stop doing all of the things that cause the mechanical damage in the first place. When I'm telling you guys not to grease the scalp, when I'm telling you not to do twist outs, when I'm telling you wash and goes drive me crazy, it's not because I'm giving opinions. It is because for over a decade, I was the woman that women came to whenever they had been doing Team Natural for so long and they wanted to either get a length check to see how long their hair was, and then they're faced with this reality, or they just know that their hair is so unhealthy from following all those practices and they want a brand new regimen. They want something different. They want to stop the rat race. They want to stop getting all of these products and putting all of these products in their hair because they're understanding no matter what they do, nothing is working. My clients were extremely happy. They always loved their hair. I never cut more hair than what they wanted. I actually cut way less than what they actually wanted, because when I was doing hair, that 45% of my clients that were great, they really, really trusted me. They really trusted me. They really sat down in my chair and said, Sin, do whatever you want to do, girl. Just make sure that my hair is done being broken off and tell me what I need to do to keep this up. And I did that. So I love you guys so much. If you are in this situation and you need help, I'm not behind the chair anymore, but the same routines and patterns that my clients followed after I fixed their hair up are the same ones that live within the 7-day challenge. I need you guys to know that everything that I say here on my channel, when I'm telling you not to do something, is coming from love, and it is coming from wisdom, from my experience of well over a decade in this hair industry, fixing the exact issue that you guys will walk into if you don't stop some of these patterns. Okay, if you want to see more videos like this with visual representations of what I used to do, me doing voiceovers over my previous videos and content, then let me know in the description box below and I'll pump out a couple more for you. But I just figured most of you have already seen these, so why would we do that? But this is a really good example of what I've been saying and what I've been talking about over the years. You saw how her hair was at the beginning. You see how it came out. This is what I used to do. I would be lying if I said that I didn't miss it. I missed the art form, not necessarily the people that come with the art form. But let me know what you think about her end result. Let me know in the comments below, and let me know if you were able to receive what I said today. I love you guys. Bye.